Hi, so welcome back to my lesson, and this is the third video on writing an informal letter. Oh, the art of writing an informal letter. So in this lesson, we are going to look at an idea on how to develop an informal letter relating a past event. So what is the difference between this lesson and the previous lesson? In the previous lesson, we wrote an informal letter using simple present tense, passing information about Malaysia. But in this letter, we are going to relate an event. You're going to write a letter to a friend relating a past event, whatever that has happened. And in this task, the content points are developed in 4 clusters. And in these 4 clusters, you are going to work on the ideas. So, as you work on the idea, you will notice that in this letter, we are mainly using simple past tense, past continuous tense, and past perfect tense, the most mainly used tenses. So please pay attention to the tenses, and probably you can compare this video and the previous video on how to develop ideas, content points, and why the content points are developed using such tenses. Okay, so are you ready for today's lesson? Hi, welcome to the third series of letter writing tasks. Okay, so we are going to look again at another informal letter. Okay, let us begin. You are a school prefect, and while on duty, you witness 2 students breaking flower pots in the school garden outside the classroom. Write a letter to your best friend about the incident. Okay, now if you look at this question, the points or the ideas have been divided into 4 classes. The first one, you have to describe the day of incident, date, time, number of students involved. The next one, second cluster, you are talking about the students. And the third cluster, actions taken against the students and the personal opinion. So, and also please take into consideration, you are writing a letter to your friend relating an event. So this letter, most of the ideas must be written in past tense. Okay, all these things must be written in past tense. The first cluster must be taught, you have to explain to your friend when it happened. All this must be in past tense. The student behavior also in past tense, action taken against them in past tense, and also, but the personal opinion, you can write them in simple present tense. Okay, now let us look at the sample task. Okay, I'm going to do the introduction. Okay, so this is the introduction. Dear Abu, I hope this letter finds you well. I am writing this letter to inform you about an incident which happened a fortnight ago in the school garden outside the classroom. It has been bothering me a bit, so I thought of writing to you to share it with you. Okay, I have put in the idea clearly. Okay, the purpose of the letter. I am writing this letter to inform you about an incident which happened a fortnight ago. A fortnight ago means 2 weeks ago. In the school garden outside the classroom. So this is generally telling the student about uh, the purpose of the letter. Okay, now let us look at the next. Okay, now the first cluster, day of incident, date, time, number of students involved. Let me show you how it has been elaborated. I did not put the idea as it happened on Tuesday, 5th March 2020 at 10 a.m. and 2 students involved. You see, I did not put the 4 ideas in one sentence. Okay, I try to give a reasonable elaboration for all these ideas. Okay, so look at the ideas that I have put. It happened on the same Tuesday you came back to Malaysia after your holiday in India. So you see, the Tuesday. If I'm not mistaken, the date was 5th March 2020. Alright, you see, I have already elaborated date and date at around 10 a.m. after our English language lesson. I added more ideas to describe the time. So date, and time have been elaborated. I was on my rounds when I heard a commotion. I hastened my pace to where the sounds came from. And horror of horrors, I witnessed 2 students breaking flower pots and the place was in a mess. Okay, number of students have been elaborated. So remember, try to put in a reasonable elaboration for your ideas. Don't just put them in one go like what I said just now. It happened on a Tuesday, 5th March 2020 at 10 a.m. and 2 students involved. No. Okay, don't write it like that. You'll lose out the content point and also the language part. Okay, so the first cluster done. Okay, now let us second cluster describing the student, problematic students and unhappy with class monitor. So this is probably relating the event to what the students have been doing. Okay, let us see. I quickly stopped them from continuing and warned that stern action would be taken against them. I noticed that both of them were the same notorious Ameng and Ali. They were quite problematic and they have always had problems with teachers and students. This time, they were unhappy with the class monitor who had given their names to the disciplinary teacher for not abiding school rules during the school's formal assembly. So I have put in the first idea. They were quite problematic and they have always had problems with teachers and students. This time, they were unhappy with the class monitor. Now you see I use past tense, stopped, warned, action would be taken against, notice, were, had problem. This is past perfect. So when you use past tense, you also need to use past perfect. Okay, this time they were unhappy with the class monitor who had given. So remember, just like our previous lesson, in our previous lesson, I said you use past, simple present tense, present continuous tense, and present perfect tense. Here, when you're using past tense, you use past tense, past perfect, and past continuous tense. Okay? Now, let us look at the next action taken. Okay, there are 4 actions have been put in. So each action needs to be elaborated. You do not write, I advise students to go back to the class and inform the class teacher and also reported the incident to the discipline teacher. And I also consulted the school counselor for advice. No, you don't write like that. You look at the elaboration that I have put in. I then advised both the students to stop breaking the pots in future as this was against the school rule. I also hurriedly informed the class teacher about the misdemeanor of the 2 boys, as the class teacher needed to be informed before further action was taken. This case was also reported to the disciplinary teacher, who jotted down the names of both boys for actions to be taken. Finally, I consulted the school counselor for advice so that there would be a counseling process before actions were taken against the 2 boys to prevent them vandalizing the school properties in future. Okay, so if you see, I have put in the idea. I then advised both the students, informed the class teacher, was also reported to the discipline teacher, and consulted the school counselor. So this is how I have put in the idea. Okay, so I hope you can work on it like this as well. Try to work it out on your own and you can check it here later on. Alright, now let us go to the 4th, my opinion, your personal opinion. So since you are writing to your friend, you say, in my opinion, both students are spoiled brat. Okay, brat is not an offensive word. Brat is showing that they are behaving badly, to indicate bad behavior. So it is not a bad word. In my opinion, both students are spoiled brats and are frequent visitors to the principal's office, so it is not surprising to see them misbehaving this way. I hope their parents will keep an eye on them. Secondly, it was an unwarranted action by both the boys to break the flower pots. This incident reflects a lot on their violent behavior. If this is not curbed at the early stage, I am afraid they may resort to more violent actions. Okay, so if you see here, I have given one personal opinion about the students. Both students are spoiled brat. Another one, this incident reflects a lot on their violent behavior. Okay, reflecting on the incident. So always remember, okay, please keep in mind, opinion of the students, opinion of the incident. Don't accidentally give two opinions of the same thing. Okay, for instance, writing opinion about your student. So think carefully before you write. Now let us conclusionary paragraph. That's all for now. Hope I am not disturbing you with this incident. I'm just sharing my thought and concern with you. Take care. Okay, so this is rather a simple letter where it is written in 4 classes. So you have 4 separate paragraphs describing the 4 things that you are required to write in your letter. And I have a simple beginning and a simple ending for this letter. I hope this letter will be able to help the mediocre students to write better. So you may pause this video, try writing on your own, and then you may come back to this video again and check your answers. Alright? Okay. Okay, so we are at the end of our lesson for the 3 series informal letter writing task. Okay, so in my first video, we have watched on how to the format of an informal letter. In the second video, we have watched on how to write an informal letter sharing information, and most of the ideas were developed using simple present tense. And in this lesson, you are relating an event or an incident that occurred at school, and you have used mainly simple past tense. Okay, so I hope after this you can write you can improve your skills in writing an informal letter, and you can write your informal letter better. In case you have forgotten or you do not know how to develop ideas, you can always come back and watch these videos. So till I see you again with my next video, bye and thank you.